The story of this video will be Anastasia's. How she transformed her stressed mind into inner peace. We live in an era marked by unprecedented technological advancements. Connected all the time, informed in real time with resources at our fingertips. And yet we have never been so overwhelmed. What was meant to make our lives easier has often become a source of tension. In this scenario of ours, stress and anxiety have become almost normal. Symptoms of a society that doesn't stop, that demands and charges. The World Health Organization revealed that more than 300 million people around the world suffer from anxiety disorders, and increasingly high levels of stress affect the quality of life of many. We are constantly pressured by the need to always be on the move, to respond quickly to life's demands, and to meet the expectations of everyone around us. The result of this pressure is emotional exhaustion, mental fatigue, and the feeling that we never achieve a state of peace. Anastasia felt this deeply. At 60, she experienced the invisible weight of a fatigue that was not physical, but emotional. Her life had been marked by dedication to family, work, and caring for others. But over time, she began to realize that this commitment to the happiness and well-being of others was no longer filling her own life. Amidst the challenges of everyday life, she felt she was losing herself. It was as if she were living on autopilot. She would wake up in the early hours, her mind already full of worries, bills to pay, work commitments, family responsibilities. She tried in every way to keep the house in order, attend to everyone, meet the demands of modern life. But she felt that, in the end, she herself was not being heard. Even surrounded by family and friends, the emptiness settled in silently, and she wondered how to find peace in the midst of all this. It was then that, on a quiet afternoon, while watching an online video, Anastasia came across a simple phrase that deeply moved her. Gratitude doesn't change what you have, but it changes the way you see what you have. The phrase was like a click. She knew she needed to change her perspective, but she didn't know exactly where to start. Gratitude, this concept so often spoken of, seemed so distant from her reality. But at that moment, something within her awakened. She decided to try. She started with a small gesture. She bought a colorful notebook with flowers that made her smile, and committed to writing down 3 things she felt grateful for every day. First, it was difficult. Her mind was so used to focusing on difficulties that it was hard to find good things. But little by little, Anastasia realized that the practice of gratitude was not just a list of good things, but a real change in the way she looked at life. In the beginning, she recorded small moments. The taste of warm coffee in the morning, the peace she felt listening to the sound of rain hitting the window, the smile of her grandson when he visited. They weren't big events. They weren't moments of great joy. They were just simple moments, but over time, she began to notice that these small details were making a huge difference in her perception. Gratitude helped her see the world differently. Scientific studies confirm that the practice of gratitude activates areas of the brain linked to happiness, empathy, and well-being. Gratitude, in fact, is a natural remedy for the mind, helping to reduce anxiety and stress, as it contributes to the restructuring of thought patterns, warding off negativity and bringing focus to what is positive. Every moment that Anastasia dedicated to recognizing something she was grateful for, she was, in fact, reconfiguring her way of interacting with the world and with herself. Over the weeks, she realized that the practice of gratitude was not just something she did at night when writing in her notebook. She began to integrate this habit into other areas of her life. When she took a shower, she allowed herself to feel the hot water, the aroma of the soap, and gave thanks for her body, which sustained her. During her walk to the market, she observed the flowers along the street, the blue sky, and the movement of people, and thought, how good it is to be alive, how good it is to be able to see all this. She began to value the small things, and this new outlook changed her disposition, her energy, and even her emotional health. The practice of gratitude goes far beyond the simple act of saying thank you. It is reflected in how we see the world, how we treat others, and even how we see ourselves. Gratitude brings a change of focus. When we practice gratitude, we turn our attention to what is going well, to what we have, and to what we are, instead of getting lost in what is missing, what we don't have, and what we cannot control. Gratitude activates the area of the brain responsible for the feeling of well-being and makes us more resilient in the face of life's challenges. But true transformation occurred when Anastácia found something that helped her even more to slow her mind and find peace: handicrafts. When young, she used to embroider, paint, and crochet, but over the years these activities had been set aside. Now, at 60, she rediscovered the pleasure of creating something with her own hands. She started with small embroideries and soon was experimenting with different techniques, such as fabric painting. Each stitch sewn, each brushstroke made, brought a feeling of warmth, of connection with herself. Handicrafts are an excellent way to de-stress, as they require attention to detail and the present moment. When we are involved in activities that demand our concentration, the mind moves away from worries and the whirlwind of thoughts. Furthermore, the focus on the hands and what we are creating helps to activate meditation, which in itself is a great relief for stress. Anastácia discovered through this practice that her thoughts naturally quieted down. She felt present, calm, at peace. Psychology has increasingly proven the benefits of handicrafts in emotional well-being. When we engage in activities such as embroidery, painting, gardening, or any other task that requires attention and care, the brain is distracted from anxiety, and attention is redirected to the present moment. Occupational therapy, for example, uses these processes to help people overcome stress and trauma, as manual work generates a sense of control, accomplishment, and relaxation. The creative process also activates dopamine, the neurotransmitter responsible for the sensation of pleasure, which provides an emotional reward for each progress we make in the activity. Even when Anastácia started with a simple line or paint, she felt immense satisfaction in seeing the work take shape. This not only helped her relax but also provided a feeling of personal fulfillment. The benefits of manual work are widely recognized by psychologists and therapists. By doing something that requires our attention and creativity, such as embroidering or painting, we can relieve the tension accumulated in the body and mind. The hands and senses become channels of relaxation, and the feeling of accomplishment upon seeing the final product brings a sense of pride and well-being. Gratitude now was deeply integrated into her life. But Anastácia realized that the practice was also beginning to affect her relationships with others. She began to notice that, by looking at the people around her with more empathy and appreciation, relationships became more genuine. She listened more, spoke less, and truly cared about others. Gratitude brought more tenderness to relationships and more patience, not only towards others but also towards herself. She came to understand that she didn't need to be perfect, that she didn't need to handle everything. Gratitude helped her to accept herself more, to be lighter, and to realize that life wasn't about doing, but rather about being. And by being present in the moment, she found happiness in the small things. Over time, Anastácia began to see her life with new eyes. Stress still appeared, but now she knew how to deal with it. She had learned to stop, to breathe, and to give thanks. Moments of anguish and anxiety, although they still arose, were no longer overwhelming. She knew she could find calm in any situation simply by changing her perspective and focusing on the good things around her. And if you, who are reading this text, also feel that stress is consuming you, that anxiety takes over your thoughts, I invite you to take the first step. Try practicing gratitude. Start with small notes, with simple gestures of thanks. Observe the beauties around you. Be kind to yourself and to others. Try activities that involve you in the present moment, such as doing a handicraft or meditating. Backhand index pointing right. Subscribe to the channel to continue this journey of self-discovery and learning about how to live with more balance and inner peace. Speech balloon. Leave a comment sharing one thing you are grateful for today. How about we start building a community of grateful and conscious people? Handshake. Join our personal transformation community. Here together we can create a space of support and growth for everyone. Remember, gratitude is a daily practice, and when cultivated, it can transform your life in ways you can't even imagine. The path is before you. Take the first step, and the rest will follow.